Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and the new Dungeons & Dragons. I would say they're the new Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Nerf guns, but they are tagged as the Nerf Dungeons & Dragons guns. So there are 3 new Dungeons & Dragons Nerf guns. I guess there are actually 2 Dungeons & Dragons Nerf guns, blasters. I think they call them blasters. There's 3 new Dungeons & Dragons Nerf blasters. They come in 3 different styles. Oh, also, credit where credit's due. Everything I'm talking about was reported first by Nerd Immersion. He does fantastic coverage, and if you want like a really in-depth, actually demo of each of 2 of the 3 guns, he's got a great video up, and I would highly recommend you watch it. So let's talk about this. I'm going to talk about what they are, and then I'm going to talk about what they mean. Honestly, I really think these Nerf blasters mean something. They're important to what Dungeons & Dragons is. So let's talk this through. So there are 3 of them. The first one is the Nerf Emberstrike, and it is a rotating barrel that shoots the traditional Nerf dart. All of the Dungeons & Dragons Nerf guns to 2021 Nerf blasters, they all shoot the traditional Nerf dart, which is fantastic. I'm a Nerf fan. Who isn't a Nerf fan on the planet now, right? Like, there's a lot of Nerf fans, and that is its own following. Like, there, my son watches some really epic YouTube channels that are just dedicated to Nerf. And yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We'll get there, right? So you have the Emberstrike, which is a rotating barrel. It has like 6 bullets, and you can just pull the trigger, boom, 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 and the barrel rotates around, and it just fires off, right? That's pretty cool. Then there's the Fireshot. The Fireshot is a traditional Nerf blaster where essentially you put one shot in the front, you pull back the kind of a lever, and you let it fire. It's the simplest of them all, and it's just very direct and simple. And last is really cool. It's definitely the coolest of all of them, and it's called the Skyblaze. And the Skyblaze shoots a traditional Nerf dart, which is only about 4 inches long, but it shoots it with an arrow action. So you pull back the bow and the bowstring, and it shoots a Nerf arrow. You can load up 5 Nerf arrows, and they all just like fire off, boom, 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 boom. Right? They're all they're all rapid fire except the Fireshot. So the Emberstrike and the Skyblaze will give you rapid fire. They all have very good distance action, just like any of the other Nerfs. But they're out, right? Now, it's really interesting. So let's talk about some of the ramifications of this being out. So one, these are a Target-only product, which I think is epic, right? Really epic. I don't know if you know this, but Wizards of the Coast, actually specifically Hasbro, and definitely Wizards of the Coast, has a really strong relationship with Target, and they do Target's exclusives. And these Nerf Dungeons & Dragons blasters are all Target exclusives. Oh, and by the way, if it's not clear as far as review of the product, I plan on buying every single one of these. They're going right in my collection. I'm very excited about these. I'm very happy that they exist. I don't really, I would love to say, oh, well, they should have did this and they should have done that, but I'm not reviewing them, essentially. And we'll talk about it in a minute, exactly why. I'm just happy they exist, and I'm thrilled they're here, and I will totally buy them, right? There's a few reasons for that. One, I'm Target over Walmart guy. I know there's a lot of people like hem and haw about that, and I know the whole Target thing, but I like to shop at Target. I will admit my wife shops at Walmart, but if I have my choice, I'll go to Target. I like Target over Walmart, and I have to say, the fact that I know when I walk in Target's doors, there's a possibility that there will be a Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons exclusive is a big deal. Now, that exclusive, sometimes it's only sold at Target, or sometimes it's sold at Target first, or sometimes it's sold at Target at a special rate. So just so you're aware, the Essentials kit fantastic. One of the best products that's ever been released for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. That cost $25 retail, and I bought 10 of them at Target for $8 a piece, and spent a year just giving them out to people. And it was really awesome that like I could give Dungeons & Dragons and let people start the game and just give it out as a gift, so easily and so cheaply, like literally like the price of a Hallmark card, right? Like the Hallmark cards I buy are usually $10 nowadays, right? So it was just really wonderful, and I loved it. All right, so let's talk about what these guns mean. So one, why do we have them now? I'll tell you my opinion on why we have them right now. I am telling you right now, Dungeons & Dragons was severely impacted by the pandemic. Every single product in the world was impacted by the pandemic, and I think Dungeons & Dragons was heavily impacted by the pandemic. Now, first of all, it was impacted with greater sales, right? Its sales increased. It was a pandemic plus product, right? The pandemic really helped Dungeons & Dragons to sell really well, right? So why are these Nerf guns really a pandemic product? Well, Hasbro did not have a great time in the pandemic, and Hasbro is a toy company, right? And frankly, I'll tell you right now, if you own a toy company, you best believe you better be diversified right now, because ain't no kids in the world really playing with toys much at all, right? Toys is a rough business to be in nowadays, right? So they're one of the few big dog toy distributors. And so, of course, Hasbro owns Nerf, and this is a very good synergy. And I think the reason these things existed was when the pandemic hit. Like, I already know. Before the pandemic, I think Hasbro stock was like $110. I remember it being as high as $110. The lowest I saw it go was like mid 60s during the pandemic. They lost like nearly half, well over a third, maybe 40% of their stock during the pandemic. It was harsh. It was very, very harsh, right? So I think what Hasbro did was they just looked at every branch and they're like, you better pull it out, man. We want products on shelves, dollars flowing in. And boy did it work, right? Like, this Magic the Gathering, Magic the Gathering Adventures in Forgotten Realms, I just dropped another $100, bringing my total to $500 spent on Magic the Gathering Adventures in Forgotten Realms. I'm going to be probably dropping between $30 and $50 for these Nerf guns. But here's the thing. They have the Dungeons & Dragons ampersand on it. These are, literally stamped Dungeons & Dragons Nerf guns. I am so hyped to get these, right? I just think they're really fantastic. I'm a Nerf fan. I'm a Dungeons & Dragons fan. This is a no-brainer, right? The other thing that I'm very fortunate with is I take pretty good care of my collectibles. I really do. And everything I buy for Wizards of the Coast and WotC just goes up, right? And so every now and then I've sold old stuff. Man, I just recently made out like a bandit and sold off some 4th edition Powers cards that I had. They were worthless forever, right? In the pandemic, they spiked. And I got easily, I think, probably 50% to 100% more than I paid for them like a few years ago, and then also kept all the duplicates for myself. Right? It was crazy. I couldn't believe how much like some of these things are going up. So that's one thing that, I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but I've been fortunate. It's one of the reasons why I'm really willing to put out a good nut on these WotC D&D products. They never lose value, right? If you keep care of them. If you just let them junk them up. So I will say, my 5th edition PHB, DMG, Monsters, man, those are probably going to be, they might go down because, they're pretty hammered, but the rest of my stuff's pretty good condition. So you have that. The other thing is, this product is helping to build a real relationship between Wizards of the Coast and Target, right? And again, I think a lot of people don't like hearing it, but this is why D&D is special, right? Like, this is why nobody cares about OSE, right? Your wife isn't going to see OSE's logo, or your spouse or your husband, if you're the wife playing, your spouse is not going to see an OSE product on the on the shelves at Target, right? So, basically when we play Dungeons and Dragons, it's so voluminous. It's such a mega IP. And when you're a mega IP, you want so many product types. People don't even know how many product types exist. And these Nerf guns help with that, right? They help put D&D in a different class. And what is its class? That's the issue, right? OSE, Knave, all like Pathfinder, all these nonsense games. There are no games that compete with Dungeons and Dragons, right? Pathfinder did for a brief period in 4th edition. I'll admit that, right? There are really no games that compete with Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons competes with literally the rest of the industry, and this is why, right? So, like, the other thing is, Nerd Immersion brought out a great point. He was like, why on earth are we getting these weird blasters, right? These Nerf blasters, which don't fit the theme of D&D, right? Why aren't we getting shields, swords, and axes? And then he brought out the Nerf shields, swords, great swords, and axes, right? I've owned every single one of those products. None of them were themed with D&D. They were perfectly themed to be D&D. So he was like, hey, why aren't they just bringing these back? These are so awesome. He's 100% right. I had every single one of those, and I can tell you why they're not getting brought back. Because if you have a house full of kids, and those kids can be literally 8 to 16 years old, you guys will hack the living crap out of each other with these foam swords until the foam falls off, and then it's just a pole sticking out, and you're still playing with them, right? So that's why they got rid of them, because they were hecka dangerous, right? They were so fun and so cool that that you used them even after they were broke, right? Like, and that is a guarantee why they stopped making those things. In my opinion, that's why they made them. They stopped making them because they're not super safe, right? They're like physical objects you hit each other with, whereas the Nerf darts are, they're inherently safer in my opinion. So I love those products, and that would be great if they could be, done that. But again, a Nerf gun, I'm going to be a 50-year-old man buying these Nerf guns and having a blast, shooting all my kids with them. And I'm sure they'll store them back and shoot me, and I'll say, where is my special Dungeons & Dragons red dart? But, so it's just going to be super fun. I love these products. So that is why those other things aren't being themed, because they're just much less safe products. And I don't think those products will ever be printed again. And if you can get your hold on any of them, especially the dual linking, like Darth Maul type foam sword, man, that was cool. We had them all, and we just used the heck out of them. Literally, beat each other with them until the foam fell off. And so that's why they're not bringing those back. These are not, and I will say, these are not themed well for Dungeons & Dragons. They really aren't. I'm totally okay with that, and the reason why is these Nerf blasters have no purpose, right, but to bring ducats back into the bank for Hasbro to help them recover from pandemic. And I'm all for it, right? Hasbro deserves every dollar they get from Dungeons & Dragons, because they treated Dungeons & Dragons well during the good times, right? Now's the lean times, and My Little Pony, Transformers, Power Rangers, D&D, they got to put up real numbers, right, to get Hasbro back on its feet after the pandemic, and I'm all for that. I'm all for, Dungeons & Dragons doing its share. That's my take. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think there's anything that the Nerf blaster, the D&D Nerf blasters mean that I didn't cover? And also, what are your experience? Did you own any of the Nerf axes, the swords, the dual linking sword, the shield? Oh my gosh, I forgot that Nerf shield. Man, was it cool. They were really epic, and they truly were the D&D Nerf products before the D&D Nerf products. Let me know what you did with your experience with Nerf is. Are you going to buy these Nerf blasters? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.